Alright guys, in this video, we reveal the most corrupt countries in Africa. We're diving into the Corruption Perception Index, or CPI, report by Transparency International. This report judges how corrupt different countries are seen to be. Transparency International recently released its annual Corruption Perception Index report. They gather data from reliable sources to identify countries with major corruption issues. It affects everything from daily lives to the economy. The CPI is a composite index, drawing on data from reputable institutions. It ranks 180 countries based on public sector corruption perception. Here are the top 30 most corrupt countries in Africa. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 30 on the list is Nigeria. Sadly, it's got a reputation for corruption, and the CPI score backs that up. With a score of 25, there's still work to be done to clean things up. But hey, every journey starts with a single step, right? It's always a bit of a bummer seeing countries struggle with these issues. Next up is Somalia, holding the unfortunate title of the most corrupt country, not just in Africa, but globally. Corruption really hurts the people living there. With a CPI score of just 11, it's clear there are deep-rooted problems to tackle. We need to keep fighting for transparency and accountability everywhere. In at number 29, we've got South Sudan. It's a relatively new country, facing challenges, including corruption. With a CPI score of 13, there's a lot of work to be done to build trust in the government and create a fairer society. You have to feel for the people who just want a brighter future. Equatorial Guinea ranks 28 on the list, with a CPI score of 17. Corruption can happen anywhere, and we must call it out and demand better. Let's hope they turn things around. At number 27, we've got Libya. It's been through a lot in recent years, and corruption has been a part of that. With a CPI score of 18, there's a need for greater transparency and accountability. It's a reminder that peace and stability are crucial for progress. Sudan ranks 26th with a CPI score of 20. Even if a country isn't at the bottom, there's still much work to combat corruption. Every effort counts in building a fairer world. At number 25, we have the Democratic Republic of Congo, with a CPI score of 20. It's a vast country with incredible potential, but corruption holds it back. We need to support organizations promoting good governance. Together, we can make a difference. Comoros ranks 24th, with a CPI score of 20. Corruption can occur anywhere, regardless of size or location. We must keep highlighting this issue and holding leaders accountable. Chad ranks 23, with a CPI score of 20. Tackling corruption needs a multifaceted approach, addressing poverty, inequality, and lack of education access. It's about creating a fairer, just society for all. At number 22, we have Burundi with a CPI score of 20. Corruption thrives where there's a lack of transparency and accountability. We must push for open government and information access. Eritrea ranks 21 with a CPI score of 21. Corruption devastates human rights, stifling freedom of speech and assembly. Stand up for the silenced and fight for a world where every voice is heard. At number 20, we have Guinea-Bissau with a CPI score of 22. Corruption undermines democracy, eroding trust in institutions and silencing voices. Support initiatives promoting good governance and accountability. Congo comes in at number 19, also with a CPI score of 22. It's a reminder that corruption can fuel conflict and instability, making it even harder to build a lasting peace. We need to support peace-building efforts that address the root causes of corruption and promote reconciliation initiatives. Zimbabwe ranks 18th with a CPI score of 24. A nation with potential, yet corruption hinders progress. Change is possible with courage, determination, and collective effort. The Central African Republic ranks 17th with a CPI score of 24. Corruption worsens poverty and inequality, trapping the vulnerable in despair. We must support economic empowerment and social justice initiatives. At number 16, we have Mozambique with a CPI score of 25. Despite progress, corruption remains a challenge. The fight against corruption is a marathon, requiring sustained effort and commitment. Madagascar ranks 15th, with a CPI score of 25. A country with incredible biodiversity, but corruption threatens its resources and the livelihoods of its people. Support sustainable development for people and the planet. At number 14, Liberia has a CPI score of 25. The country works hard to rebuild after conflict, but corruption undermines progress. Peace and development go hand in hand. Corruption threatens both. Uganda ranks 13th with a CPI score of 26. Corruption chills press freedom, making it harder for journalists to hold power accountable. We must stand up for press freedom and protect those exposing the truth. At number 12, we have Guinea with a CPI score of 26. Corruption undermines the rule of law, eroding trust in the justice system. We must support initiatives that strengthen the judiciary and promote access to justice for all. Cameroon ranks 11th with a CPI score of 27. Corruption fuels human rights abuses, as those in power enrich themselves at the people's expense. We must stand up for everyone's rights and hold violators accountable. At number 10, we have Mali, with a CPI score of 28. Corruption destabilizes regions, undermines governance, fuels conflict, and creates opportunities for organized crime and terrorism. We must support efforts to promote good governance, strengthen institutions, and address instability. Gabon comes in at number 9. Also with a CPI score of 28. Corruption has a devastating impact on the environment, leading to deforestation, illegal mining, and other forms of degradation. We must support sustainable development to protect our planet. At number 8, Djibouti has a CPI score of 30. Corruption undermines growth, discourages investment, stifles innovation, and perpetuates inequality. We must promote fair, transparent, and accountable economic policies. Togo ranks 7th with a CPI score of 31. Corruption undermines public trust, creating cynicism and apathy among citizens who feel the system is rigged. We must restore faith in democracy by promoting transparency, accountability, and citizen participation. At number 6, we have Kenya with a CPI score of 31. Corruption erodes social trust, undermines the rule of law, and fuels instability. We must build a culture of integrity where corruption is not tolerated. Niger ranks 5th with a CPI score of 32. Corruption is a global problem needing a global response. We must work together to share best practices and hold corrupt actors accountable. At number 4, we have Angola with a CPI score of 33. This serves as a reminder that the fight against corruption is ongoing, and we must remain vigilant in promoting transparency, accountability, and good governance. Malawi ranks 3rd with a CPI score of 34. It's a reminder that small acts of corruption have a big impact, and we all play a role in creating a more just and equitable world. And finally, at number 2, we have Sierra Leone, with a CPI score of 35. It's a reminder that progress is possible, even in countries facing significant challenges. By working together, we can create a world where corruption is no longer a barrier to peace and prosperity. So there you have it, guys. The top 30 most corrupt countries in Africa based on the CPI. It's a tough reality, but awareness is key to a better future. Every bit counts in fighting corruption. Speak out against injustice, support organizations, or educate ourselves and others. We can all make a difference. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and keep the conversation going in the comments.